Hello, my beautiful co-creators of the new paradigm. Today I'm coming to you from Gambia, Africa, and I would like to speak a little bit about lightness and darkness, or shadows and light. So I think every single part of the planet has a kind of, you could say, fundamental energy to it. And Africa, out of a lot of places, is really, especially Southern Africa, is really a continent that has been expressing in very fierce ways what can be the influence of duality, of the idea between contrast, polarity, black and white. For instance, in the manifestation that we all co-created, that we are calling now apartheid. So you can see that when you travel to these countries, especially that have roots that are in that way, that we have co-created, that we have manifested, to show to us, to reflect to us that struggle that is truly originating from within, that is within every single one of us, and that we have all chosen to transform in this life or maybe another. But when you travel to countries like that, I feel, for myself at least, personally speaking, it touches those kind of themes in yourself as well. And I really love that. So I've been traveling a little bit in my life over the world, seeing very different parts of our beautiful planet. And every single time I arrived in a new area, connecting with the people, which I really love. The Gambia people are just so sweet and kind. It's also called, this country is also called the smiling coast of Africa. And when you ever visit, you will definitely figure out why that is the case. People have the most gorgeous smile, such a warm and open heart. And they really want to get to know you, they want to connect. And I feel that is very genuine. And I've been having a beautiful time here so far. So thank you, Africa. Thank you, Gambia, for welcoming me in this beautiful way and for allowing me to get to know you. And I can see how this country is reflecting to me also how okay I am with the shadows, the darkness, which obviously, of course, is a metaphor in myself. And because I love to connect with this country, with the roughness of it, the rawness, the realness of the people's lives in conversation, and going a little further than hello, how are you? And it's really beautiful. It's been nourishing. And what I wanted to share with all of you is that you have been navigating to my YouTube channel for a special reason, I believe. You are navigated by your own higher self, by your guides, in many ways. And for me, stepping into the light, which is really going to be the theme of this video, for me, stepping into the light had everything to do with allowing myself to be transparent, to drop, you could say, the attachment to a certain outcome in your life that our rational mind often likes to control. Preconceptions and expectations, to let go of these things in my life and to just shine radiantly in a transparent manner out into the world. This has been a big theme throughout my own life, and I know that the people who are attracted by my work, whether it is the channeling work that I do with Arjun, of the Yael, or the other extraterrestrial races that I feel I'm so strongly connected to, that I call them my family. Whether it is that work or me sharing my personal life story in whatever way or form, I'm sure that you are gravitating to my channel, to my work, because on some level you are exploring similar things in your own life. And this is what I would really like to say now, being in Africa, is that embracing the darkness is stepping into the light. It's the same thing. So, for instance, it wasn't easy for me, I will honestly tell you, to step out with my work as an extraterrestrial channeler, to step forward to tell my family, to tell society, okay, this is what I do. I feel I have had this connection since I was a child, but I've always been, or most part of my life, looking at how we create the past from the now, most part of my life, I have been manifesting myself, in a sense, buying into fears that I would be judged if I spoke about these things, that I would never be supported in sharing this kind of information, that my voice didn't add anything to the whole, that there are beautiful channels already out there, so why would I do this? I was also incredibly shy, and I'm still overcoming layers of that. Believe me, every single YouTube video I make, I'm really like, okay, camera standing, recording the sound with the voice recorder, taking a few really deep breaths in and out, and go, okay, here we go again. I'm going to share another part of my life. This is exciting. It is exciting. I've started to use this word more and more often instead of saying I'm afraid to do this or I'm insecure to do this. It's exciting to do this. Every single time I do it, I take a leap. So sharing this interest for ET beings, for also just sharing the fact that I've seen several UFOs in my life, of which one very close encounter when I was 24. All of these things I kept to myself for so long, and now when I think back of it, obviously I'm still not like clinging to people in the street and saying, oh, you have to hear what I have to say or something like that. I'm not like preaching anything, because I don't care if you or anyone believes me or not, but just to give myself permission to share my own point of view, my own experiences as I believe I have experienced them. That was a leap, and still sometimes is. And it's funny because now I am, you could say, out of the closet, and I made peace with all the demons of maybe somebody in my family will judge me for it, or and there are some people in my family who really don't get what I'm doing, but I'm not judging them for not getting it. So on the verge of wanting to share, I can see how I had these fears. I felt maybe if they wouldn't understand me, that would be rejection. But rejection really doesn't exist until you say you are rejected. So it is by the, you could say, confirmation of your own rational mind that you begin to feel rejected. It's when you let your rational mind define the situation as a rejecting situation. But, you know, in encountering people who really didn't get where I was coming from, I found such a beautiful way of peaking in my anxiety, in a sense, inner anxiety, riding that wave and then transforming it, just watching it, seeing that that's there, acknowledging it, definitely not suppressing it, because that would make it worse. Seeing my fear, taking a deep breath, going, yes, okay, I'm afraid, but I'm still here. And I can speak my preferences, I can speak my truths, and it doesn't have to be judgmental to them or me, because it's always going to be subjective. All truths in the eye of the beholder are true. So this is the thing, this is the paradox, you could say. I'm really out here in the middle of nowhere, basically. That's why you hear these amazing birds. It's gorgeous here, gorgeous Gambia. So yeah, the paradox is within every single one of us. We contain both the light and the darkness. And it is by hugging the darkness that you reveal the light that you originally are, that you are made of. So you reveal that to yourself. And by that I mean you reveal it to your rational mind, who can suddenly sigh a deep sigh of relief and go, oh, wait a minute. This is also possible. I'm still here. I'm still standing. I can choose a different point of view. I can choose to not feel rejected. I can choose, for instance, to see that everybody has their own truth and that we can stand side by side without having to judge each other, even though we may not necessarily agree on certain things in life. Also, I gave myself permission to say goodbye to certain people and things in my life that I just simply no longer resonate with. Because through my work, I will tell you, like, probably you recognize this if you've started to connect with higher dimensional beings. You are constantly going to be pushed to become more and more of your true natural self. So every single thing that is out of alignment in your life will rub against you so much harder than it did before. Where earlier, perhaps a few years back, you could still say, I don't really like this, but I'm just gonna play the polite game and wait until it blows over. It doesn't work like that anymore. Let's say that the time span between encountering something that rubs you the wrong way and the duration of time wherein you can go about this in an avoiding manner has really changed. I have definitely become aware of this in the past, let's say, 6 months, since about August 2017 up until now. I started to feel the acceleration much more, you could say, in my face. And I trained myself. First, there was a little bit of a, oh my God, now we really have to be careful, but that's not a very positive definition to walk around with. So I changed it to, now it's really gonna be fun. Now the games are on, you could say. So since 2018, the beginning of this year, I have felt confronted with needing to speak my truth a lot more stronger than I have in the years before that. And even there, I was already one of those people who was like very straightforward, I thought. But yes, I feel like I have to do that even more, and maybe you do too. So this is the time to step into the light and to choose the energy frequency that you wish to be on, the version of Earth that you wish to be on. You choose it with every breath you take. You choose it just by being you. And that's the thing. You will get the reflection of the version of Earth that resonates most with you, with your true natural core being, which is unconditional love and light. You will shift to that much more effortlessly when you choose to be your own true natural core being in communication to other people, in the actions that you take, the connections that you make. And that means no more beating around the bush. That means saying no when you actually mean no. And sometimes, if this is something that you've been a little bit shy to do, you will attract into your life people who really push your buttons. And as I understand it from Arjun, my guide, and from our own higher self, the reason that we manifest such people into our lives is because we love ourselves so much. So you could say that from our higher self's point of view, we bring ourselves the very best teachers. And the people that push your buttons the roughest, let's say, they are the best teachers. Because you can't avoid them, you can't ignore it. It's so in your face, you have to deal with it. And there is no running away, it's no longer an option. So you're, in a sense, you could say forcing yourself to look at something, but in another way, putting it more mildly, more gently, more positively, maybe, you are strongly inviting yourself to look at things another way, to stand in your power, to shine your light in small things and overwhelming things in your life. It doesn't matter what kind of situation maybe is playing through your mind right now. But if it is a place or a subject or a person that you've been holding back towards, ask yourself the question, why have I been holding back so far? What am I most afraid will happen if I speak my truth? Write it down or speak it out loud in a mirror. And this can be a really emotional thing to actually speak it out, because in that moment, you're taking time to acknowledge what is. And if that fear is in your ego rational mind structure, it simply wants to be seen. And suppressing it will make it grow larger, because it's like a child that wants to be heard. It will scream louder and louder until it finally gets your attention. So you take a breath, you say it out loud in a mirror, you write it down. And whatever it is that you are most afraid of will happen when you shine your light, become friends with it. Say, okay, that might happen. And maybe, maybe it is something that is so bizarre and so grotesque and so crazy that when you see your fear, your deepest fear, your rational mind goes, but that's not gonna happen. And then you can just sigh with relief knowing that that's not gonna happen because it's too far fetched. You see, the point is just to see it, to acknowledge what the fear is, and by seeing it, by looking it in the eyes, you can transform it. And there really is no other way. You have to, that's the agreement we made in this human life, to transform by acknowledgement, to transform by compassion, by unconditional love, by our willingness to open up, to step into the light, to face our shadows, and to unite the two so that more light can come in, because no more darkness is being suppressed. And that's why no more darkness will feel like it needs to defend itself, that it needs to fight back. Suppression is never an answer. Violence, destruction, it's not an answer. So, yeah, that is what I really, really wanted to share with you guys. True unconditional love is not afraid of anything. Unconditional love, which is what you are made of, which is what we are all made out of. It's our core light beingness. It's our true nature. True unconditional love is not afraid to shine, to speak, to be different. We are all unique. To say no when they mean no, to say yes when they really mean yes, and also to say maybe when you haven't made your mind up yet. There is nothing wrong with being in a process. You don't have to know yes or no right now, this minute. When a person asks you something and you don't immediately know how to answer, you can say maybe, let me think about it. Give me a moment. There is truth and transparency and honesty in that as well. I think when you have the feeling that you need to tell somebody something, whoever it might be in your life, my tip would be to keep your sharing to yourself, not by not speaking about it, but by deciding to, when you do speak about it, to share it from a point of view where you show you own your topic. So when somebody has been like getting under your skin in a negative way, um, you can tell them, I've been observing that you speak to me in a way that I don't really prefer. And I've been taking that all along because I was shy to say something about it. But I can see how I created that by not speaking up for myself. But I would like to know you. I would like to let you know that it's not my preference, that in the future I would like to see it differently. So maybe we can start over, or maybe we can adjust that, or, you know, and maybe they can't. This is also like, this might be the big fear why you're not asking a person a thing like this, because maybe they won't change. And it's their free right, it's their free will to not change. But then you have at least given it all you've got by asking and making this subject visible and putting it on the table. So we have to learn how to be transparent in a loving way. Even within transparency, there is a way to be pushy, to be rough, to be demanding, which is what you don't want to be. Isn't it funny how within the expressions of what we often think is love, we still often create a little layer that is, again, ego based. So it's so important to continue to scan yourself and to see, where am I coming from now? Where am I coming from now? Am I expressing a need, or am I expressing enthusiasm? Am I demanding a positive response, or can I be open to whatever comes back? Am I fearful of what might be the response, or avoiding a topic entirely? Or am I open to explore with this other person an entirely new point of view that neither one of us might have ever thought of had we not had this conversation. And by doing that, by taking that first step into that direction, you open up yourself and you give other people an opportunity to open up themselves, so that together you begin to increase the light energy frequency in this world. And that is beautiful. Every single person who opens up a conversation on a topic that they thought was challenging before are in that moment that you're a light warrior. In that moment, you are healing. You are healing yourself and the world. You're not just doing it for you. You're doing it for everything else because you are connected to everything else. And that's what makes it so beautiful. So, from the heart of Africa, I wanted to share this with you. And I want to thank you also for being a part of my own journey of opening up more and more every single time, sharing with you my journey. And I'm so proud of you guys making your own journey in your own way, in your own pace, in your own tempo. And because I know every step you take influences me in some way, because we are all connected. And so I'm so grateful for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I even want to give a special thanks out to every single person who ever rubbed against me in the wrong way, you could say, in the past, whether it was a friendship or a co-creation, in whatever way, shape, or form. If we pushed each other's buttons, we were excellent teachers for each other. And I thank you for helping me open up and discover the dark within myself that I was still avoiding to look at. Because that's what you get out of this. That's what you get out of so-called conflict. That's what you get out of polarity and paradox. And it's so beautiful when you look at it that way. And it's such a relief when you look at it that way. I'm so happy. Okay, you gorgeous co-creators. I will say goodbye for now, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, and I love you so much. Namaste.